Okay, it says we're live. And I feel like we're slightly wonky. Maybe that helped. Anyway, hello. Welcome. How are we? Yesterday I went to one of the big box hardware stores. Mom and I were looking at kitchen flooring options. Then we went to the Gemstone warehouse because they're open yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And I got a couple of little things, not huge things, but little. They had these little tiny hearts that were like yay big-ish, out of a couple different stones. So I got a pair of lapis, a pair of tiger's eye, and a pair of what I think is serpentine. They didn't have those labeled. So it's like that one could be maybe some green opal. It could be maybe, I don't think it's aventurine. But so it could, the greenish one could be a couple of different things. And so I'm thinking, that I would like to make earrings out of them. I'm not entirely sure if, because I don't have a Dremel at the moment. I may have to get one. We'll see. Because the goldstone ones that I have just have the hole in the top to attach the fastening stuff, which means that you don't have a whole lot of excess wire for like wire wrapping, which would make it even heavier. And I'm trying to decide if I can maybe wrap them in a cute manner that doesn't add a whole lot of extra weight to the stones. Because I mean, face it, stones have weight. So I'm like, do I attempt to? Okay, so interesting. You can still see the crown. Interesting. I cannot see the crown on my chat. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's an individual. If you don't want to see it, you have to turn it off. To turn off crowns, everyone individually needs to go to the YouTube homepage. Or you can click your little profile. Go down to settings, then privacy. The leaderboard participation is a toggle that you can turn off. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Okay. I thought that it was something that you did on your channel and then just nobody saw it on your channel anymore. But no. Okay. Interesting. Anyway, so derail thoughts. But yeah, so I don't know if I can wrap them elegantly or if I can just do, because okay, let me see the if I can bring this up to where it's visible. Maybe. No, probably not. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay. So here's the channel that I was looking at, which is Bronze Rose Creations. And the hearts that I have are a little smaller, maybe, depending on how large her hands are. The biggest one may be around this size, maybe slightly smaller. But I like that it has a little bit more decoration. But on the other hand, this is a good bit of wire. And this is meant for a pendant rather than an earring. And so I don't know that would do well as an earring just because of the weight. So it's like, do I just get a Dremel with like a carbide bit and try to try to do the thing? So yeah. So I'm trying to figure out logistically what would be the best way to do that. But yeah, let me show you they're cute. I'm always willing to show off more rocks, right? Okay, so I have the pair of lapis, which both of them have sort of like a vertical, like mica flex. And so I have to decide, I guess, which side I want, but I think I like these sides out. So they'd be cute. And then I have, normally I'm not a heart girly, so I don't know what was like, but they were cute. And then I have the pair of Tiger's Eye, which Tiger's Eye just like catches the light in really cool ways. Same thing for that one. Then I have the serpentine / green opal. We're not really sure because they weren't labeled. These are a little bit bigger. So these definitely are an option for like how little wire can we use. So those were the 3 pairs that I got potentially to make earrings. And then I did get 2 cabochons from Labradorite, one of which has like that almost iridescent oil slick blue, green, yellow shift. So that one's really pretty. And then this one, until this trip, I had not seen one that had like a purple flash. But this one has a very nice purple to blue, which I had not physically, like I'd seen them in other people's videos with a purple flash, but I had never seen them in person. So I was kind of excited to see one. And I was like, well, maybe I could try making a necklace. So we'll see. Another hobby, right? Another hobby. But this one we do have supplies for the wire wrapping. We don't have a Dremel bit though. A Dremel drill with bits. So we'll see. We shall see. But anyway, how was your day yesterday? Did you have a good time yesterday, this morning, whenever? Did you? Hopefully you're having a good day today as well. So Stace says good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. Stace says I may be only on to chat today as you have a massive headache. Oh, sorry. Hopefully the headache goes away quickly. That would be nice. That would be very nice if the headache goes away quickly. Also sort of still, my brain is like still tracking on like the stones. If anybody has experience wire wrapping and or doing that kind of stuff, let me know if you have any recommended channels or tutorials or books. Because I mean, again, learning a new skill. So this is where, yes. So Monique says, hey y'all, hello. This is where Monique was like, I can still see the crown with the XP counter. Yeah, I don't know. Like I still have the little button up top and I don't want to press it because it might turn it back on. I don't know. Once you did that for your channel, you have not seen it on any live streams and you love that. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, Kara says, I don't like them. Participation in chat should not be a competition. I know it's a YouTube thing and not a channel. Yeah. So I have turned it off for me. So if you follow Stacy's directions, going to your profile or the YouTube homepage, go down to the gear for settings and then privacy. And then under live chat, there's an option to toggle off the leaderboard participation, and that will make the crowns disappear. Pirate, hello, welcome. You have 2 papers / reports to write today. Oh no, no fun fiction for you until you are free from this grad class. Well, hopefully we can help you focus and get some work done. That would be very nice. Stacey says, about the poll. I introduced something that could lead to this the other day. You almost answered for your other story, but you remembered which one that you were writing and answered properly. Nice. Yes, the poll for today is kind of a what if scenario. So if your main character could utilize a personal drone to film something, what would they be filming? Would they be filming enemy territory? Would they be filming a loved one, either to protect them or stalkerish vibes if you have a morally gray character? Would they be filming for scenic and aesthetic views and vibes? Or would they be filming land specifically for like business purposes or even rescue purposes? Why might your main character be filming with a personal drone if that was possible? So if your story is a fantasy and like drones are not a thing, if your character had a spell or a magic that they could cast that would allow them to see from a bird or see from a created familiar, I guess, what would they be using it to view? If you need to think about it that way. There's a heat wave here in the UK, so you're staying inside. Yeah. Okay, so what temperature is it in the UK? It's slightly cooler today here because it rained yesterday evening, but it's so muggy and humid. It just does not feel good. It's currently 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Which is 30.5 degrees Celsius. So I don't know what that is relative to what your heat wave is. But this is cooler because usually at this time of day it's like 91, 92. I'll do 91, which would be 32.7 in Celsius. It's just so muggy. I don't even like, I could go to the Weather Channel and see what it feels like because I'm sure it will be obnoxious. But it's just so muggy. And the cicadas are out. Oh, the cicadas are out. Monique says, my goal for today is to write 12,500 words. Wow. Is that getting to that or actually writing 12,000 today? That's a lot of words, Monique. It's a lot. Okay. Okay. So, well, no, okay. Yeah. You want to get your total word count. Gotcha. Okay. Our camera drones are through thing by 2015. Maybe the beginnings of them. Like maybe like backyard DIY drones. I think so. I'm trying to think. 2015. Yeah. Yeah, I think they had started to be a thing. You're paying more attention to the total. Gotcha. Monique says two things. Your characters plan to film behind the scenes as a way of spying on the vampires. Ah, nice. Nice. Lexi is here and says, hello, welcome. Stace says military probably would have had some sort of cameras on drones by 2015, but I think consumer levels would have been just more for fun. Yeah, but I think I remember seeing some drone shots on. I want to say I've seen them at least that far back, but I could be wrong. But I feel like definitely some people would have them. Your thermostat says 23 degrees Celsius, but you're in Scotland, so worse down south. Gotcha. Monique says you're discovering stuff about minor characters while you write, such as how Justin joined his college's ROTC program because he comes from a lower income family. Yeah, that's one thing that the ROTC programs are really great for is the scholarships and all that. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other great things about them, but okay. Sorry, I'm prepping getting our cards and doggos. CB says, hello. Hello. Welcome. Kara says, my anxiety has been dreadful today. Oh, no. You need to determine if the cause is strictly psychological or if you need to cut back on your thyroid medication. Too much can cause elevated blood pressure and pulse, which then creates that sense of, or can create an additional sense of anxiety. Yeah. CB says Avengers Age of Ultron came out in 2015, so I reckon it's possible that drones with cameras were beginning to be developed. Yeah, I feel like they were a thing, just maybe not in everybody's hands. Stay says to Monique, I'm also focusing more on the total words and not the word count per sprint. Nice. CB says it's 27 here in Glasgow, and you have your big fan and your little fan running. Gotcha. Monique says, I also figured out another aspect of your vampire's money laundering scheme. Nice. Having a mom who is accountant helps a lot. Yes, I would very much agree with that. Okay, so here's another random question that I had that may or may not come up into writing, because I was thinking about one of my contemporaries, and drones were not commercial yet, but they were around. So I was wondering, I've got a car that's one color, and it's a pretty common color, but if I wanted to paint it something different, do I have to let anybody know in terms of tag and title, in terms of insurance? Because if the police have to put out a bolo, be on the lookout for your car, and they're calling it a dark sedan because at nighttime navy blue and black and purple look the same, they just look dark, versus if you had painted it from a dark color to a light blue, do you have to let anybody know that? Does anybody know? I should probably just call the tag and title office or call the insurance to ask this question. I'm not thinking about doing that. I'm just I wonder. And that's one of the things that's never addressed in the movies. They're oh, they went into the garage and they put a skin on it, or they changed to a different car, and suddenly the be on the lookout for is, anyway. So I'm just wondering, for a story's sake, if I have a character who is needing to change the color of their car to escape someone. Anyway, I'm just curious. It's a weird random thought that could lead to a research rabbit hole. Seawright says, that sounds rough. To CB, you're in Aberdeen and it's a bit cooler than that. Kara says, I hope the forest will allow me to participate today if we do that. You've had trouble with the sync in the forest app in the past couple times. Oh, no. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. I will also get that. I do have the new month challenge flowers, the little white roses, so we can do that. Would say if you can't find information online, it would be best thing to do be call, find out. Yeah. If it's for a story, you can take artistic license. Yeah. I think if your car is stolen, the cops are going to ask you what color is it, and if someone saw a crime, they would report what color they saw. Yeah. I don't know, but it's if you go missing and your family hadn't seen you in a while and didn't know you had changed colors of your car. I don't know. So I'm just kind of turning that over in my brain. And at some point I may find an answer to that, but at some point, who knows? Okay. So for the forest, I'm just going to go ahead and GZU 356SG. GZU 356SG. All right, this is the forest code. If it's for, as far as officially documenting, you probably need to contact the, this is the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, because color is on the registration. Okay. Gotcha. CB says the TRNSMT Music Festival is happening in Glasgow this weekend, so you're going absolutely nowhere. Yeah, I can imagine that a large festival would definitely impact traffic and the amount of people at the grocery store and just everywhere. So, Nitish, hello, welcome. Hopefully I said your name correctly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, so it's transmit. Okay, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, so let's do the doggos so we can go ahead and get to the writing. So Thursday's doggo is Barclay. As captain of the ship, he is ready to brave whatever treachery the sea brings his way, as long as it stays tied to the dock. 13 out of 10, brave as heck. So here's Barclay. Is Barclay going to focus? Barclay is not going to focus at the moment. Let's see, where's my half sheet? You would think that since I know I use this every other day, that I would keep it out. Here is Barclay. Still not focusing. Oh well, Barclay is a good doggo. And then today we have Walter. He does not give a single heck, believes rules were meant to be broken. 13 out of 10 would follow anywhere. And Walter is sitting in front of a sign that says, danger, do not go beyond this point. I guess actually he's sitting behind the sign, which is why he's breaking the rules. Look at that fluff. Look at all that fluff on Walter. So cute. So very, very cute. So we have Barclay and Walter today as our doggos. Barclay, the ship captain, and Walter, the wilderness rule breaker. So, Walter is floofy like a cloud. Yes. Yes, Walter is. Okay. So today we have a bee. So it is an insect. So if you are not a fan of bees for the Oracle card, there will be a bee on the screen in 3, 2, 1. Bee on the screen. Here's our bee friend with the gears on his back. Looks very cool. The message is sweet results await. Okay, bee no longer on the screen. The bee's spirit message is that sweet rewards are on their way if you are willing to get your ego out of the way and immerse yourself in the connected energy of all things. The bee knows not to let a sense of being a separate self get in the way of a good thing. Spirit is always producing honey. Miracles and magic are everywhere. When you connect with the great hive, you are vibrating and buzzing in exquisite harmony with all. The bee spirit asks that your focus be on connectivity. Your body, heart, and soul and psyche experience total interconnectedness and true integration when you self-forget, when you remember that you are a part of a greater unified consciousness. Moving from separation into connection, from self-centered limitation to spirit-centered infinite possibility and potential. You become busy as a bee, enjoying the gifts of the bee spirit. Fully in alignment with your highest expression of yourself, your heart opens and creativity rushes through you, seemingly without effort, as you experience that nothing feels like work. Industriousness is driven by enthusiasm and inner motivation, and time seems to fly by quickly as the hive supports you in the making of honey. Do you feel the presence of your helpers in the hidden realms, adding their energy to your creations? Magical results are taking form and will be sweeter than you expect. The bee wants you to remember that your part in the divine partnership with the conscious universe is being rewarded even if you can't see it yet. and asks that you share your good fortune as there is plenty of honey. Be a part of the larger whole, the force that brings forth all that is sweet and delightful. So there you go. Kara says the stinging insects in this area tend to be really mellow. Yeah. They generally, most critters are not aggressive until you are in their territory and or threatening them. Some critters are just like mosquitoes. They're just mean. Anyway, they're not stinging, they're biting. But anyway, does this mean you're getting ice cream tonight? I mean, that would be fun. It would be very fun. It's sweet. Seawright says, I saved a bee yesterday and gave it some water and honey. Very nice. Very nice. Look at you, saving the bees. Saving the pollinators. Kara says, the enchanted map magic prayer is number 32. Speak your prayers, listen for answers, and act in faith. And the best prayer is thy will be done through me, and thy will and mine be done. Stacy says, my characters belong to an organization called the Honeybees. They find it cringy, but that's cute. That's cute. Monique pulled the King of Swords from your Buffy Tarot deck. Ooh, authority, communication. Ooh, very could be real good. Could be real good. Kara says, when we were living in Lakewood, the Yellow Jackets would come. Yeah, Yellow Jackets are one of those that I was thinking of. Is just like those are not mellow at all. Very much at all. You're thinking the King of Swords can apply to the villains. Okay, so taking that authority and turning it into tyranny. Gotcha. Okay, let's do a sprint because I've been talking for forever. Apologies. But not really, because I enjoy chatting with y'all. So, dum-dum-dum, where are you? Okay, I need to view my channel, and I need to go to videos. That's what I need to do. There we go. I'm like, what are my steps again? Sometimes, y'all, my brain just does not do. I did not have caffeine today, but I did try a new tea. I tried Celestial Seasonings Tangerine Orange Zinger, and it was good, but it was not very tangerine-y. There was like a hint of tangerine at the end after you steeped it for like 6 minutes or so. So I still think the Raspberry Zinger is my favorite of their teas. So, although the lemon zinger is also pretty good. So raspberry and lemon. Maybe I should combine the two. Ooh, there's a thought. Raspberry lemonade. Okay, anyway. Let's do this. Kate. Hello. Welcome. Just in time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my document, which this first sprint, as usual, I'm going to be doing a little bit in my bullet journal and then drafting today. Hopefully it'll be drafting. Hopefully we're not going to be editing. But that's where we are. Okay, so 1, save your document now that you've got it open. 2 is make sure you have something to drink. I do not, but cheers anyway. We'll get that during the sprint as well. I'm all out of just whack. Okay, so 1 sip, 1 save, 2 sip. 3 is straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check and stretch. And 4 is make sure if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. That is the first sprint. I got 484 to start with. A little bit of sort of like brain moment, for sure. Trying to get that brain going and trying to kick over, but it's okay. It'll eventually get there. I did go ahead and type the new forest code in the chat. It's all letters. If you want a different like tree or plant, let me know. If you need another one for your like monthly challenge time thing, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just stick with the white roses. Okay. Monique asked a question of whether or not it was ADHD coded or ADHD related. Your character, Gabby, doesn't have the patience to read a physical book. So she looks up an audiobook of the original Phantom novel and listens to it while doing chores, drawing, etc. So this can be related to ADHD, can also be related to dyslexia, or sort of like reading issues. Sometimes it's just what people prefer, because they prefer to have a voice if they're not practiced in doing voices in their head. But yeah, so this can be a very ADHD thing. It can be related to dyslexia. It can be related to somebody who just doesn't have a whole lot of time, and their audio processing is faster than their visual reading processing. So I don't think it necessarily has to do with patience. Sometimes it can be, sometimes it can't be. But so you could write this as a like she's impatient and she can put the audio on like 2 times speed or 1.5 or whatever and get it done faster. But it could also be related to her attention processing issues. I had some people that they had audio processing issues as well, and so they had to have something visual, and so they would prefer to consume the movie version. And so if I told them about movie versions of the thing, I was like, okay, you can watch this to get the general gist, but I do want you to like try and read this, either with your ears or with your eyes, because there is a couple of things that were changed with the movie, or they didn't get the character portrayal like just right. So I'm like, but the visual was an added assistance for their comprehension. But also, if they read it and they read the words and they didn't really understand what was going on, the plot was very convoluted or whatever, I highly suggested that they go watch as a support, not as their only thing, but they go watch some of the summaries on YouTube or wherever. So Thug Notes was always like a favorite of theirs, the high schoolers. I never showed the middle schooler any Thug Notes, but the high schoolers really liked the Thug Notes summaries, and they are very analytical. So the Thug Notes are always a really nice support for their understanding of classical texts. But yeah, so generally, if a student had way too many things that they were doing, so like if they were in band and play and a sport, like they wouldn't have a whole lot of time. So a lot of them, if they had a time issue, would do the multitasking with the audiobook and have that. So yeah, some people did both. Like as Stacy just said, some people listened to the audio as they read because it helped to have that, again, that narrator, that voice. So yeah, but so it can be ADHD related. Yes, as a very short answer, very long for you. Yeah. Kara says, I never understood things being coded. You have ADHD, but you do have the patience to read a physical book if you're interested in it. If you're interested in it, though, is the key. Some people might not, but it does sound like an issue for some people with ADHD. Yeah. Rather than patience, the term for what you focus might be hyperfocus. Yeah, you can hyperfocus on something if you are interested in it. But the if you are interested in it is very, very important, because most of the texts, honestly, most of the texts that were introduced in high school, the kids really didn't care too much about, because most of them, as relegated by the school system, were written by dead white men about very specific things that weren't necessarily easily relevant to these kids' lives. So you had to do some workarounds and some placement association games type of things to get them to relate to quite a few of the texts. Some of them were just like odd and weird, and like okay, so we introduced Kafka, and of course metamorphosis is the thing that the people want us to teach, and I'm like, that's not the one that we should be teaching. Like, that's really not the one that we should be teaching. So we wound up doing oh gosh, what's the name of it? The Hunger Artist, I think, is the name of it. Was a little short story about a guy who starves himself to near death to get attention, of just like his fasting in public was his performance, if you will. And he was doing it for the attention. And so he joined a circus and was part of that. And so we read the story, and people are like, I don't understand. Why is he doing this? And I'm like, okay, let me ask you this. Which social media website do you think this is most like? And the kids, they all sat there and they thought about it. They analyzed it, and they're like, oh, see, now I get it. The dopamine, the attention, the harming yourself for attention. I get it. And so having stories like that in their curriculum was very important, because then they could see the damage it did. I had quite a few students who went on like social media detox after that story. It was really fun to be able to make that connection with the kids. But for the longer texts, where they're so long, a lot of the kids just didn't care, because it's like, I don't have time for this. I'm working a job. I am helping pay the rent. So is very different to go in and try and have them, like, some of the stories, there's something universal about them, like Romeo and Juliet. Like, yeah, don't fall in love so easily, and don't give up everything for love, and also don't be stupid and take poison, like multiple things. But like young love can be all consuming, and things like that. So there were aspects of things that they could connect to, but getting them to read the Shakespearean language was difficult. And so having to parse that out for them. And so a lot of the texts were written in much more stilted language, and having them process that versus their regular vernacular became a process. And so a lot of them do much better with the audio support for that than the visual. So words on a page visual, not acting it out visual. Anyway, Kate was headed to lunch. Scroll. You sat in a park and read Anna Karenina during the summer when your son was going to bartender school. You were actually interested in the story, though, or I'm sure it wouldn't have happened. Yeah, yeah, because Anna Karenina is kind of one that I would say is not one that would strike many people, many of my kids' fantasies, and make them want to read it. Anyway, Kara says you'll be watching Dabble's video about self-editing during the next stream or sprint. Yes, great. CB got 159 words. Excellent. Had to do some research about 2 different things. Excellent. Good. Research is good. Funky. Hello. Welcome. Lexi got 1,672. Nice. That's my 484. Pathetic. No, okay. I am very grateful that you are always upping our total words written in the stream. Stacy got about 250. Very nice. Like that. Nice even number. CB says, the first thing you had to research is international airlines that have on board wheelchair assistance for your parents. And the second thing is, how does a court of law work in Harry Potter? Yeah. I think there's a reason why the Muggle world and the Wizarding world is kept separate. So yeah. So are you talking about the Wizarding law, or are you talking about Muggle law? So, or like if there's a crossover between the two. My guess is if there's a crossover between the two, the Wizarding world will make the Muggle world forget about it, if possible, and then deal with it in the Wizarding world. So, Stacy says, Monique, I don't know if this helps, but I personally like to listen to the audio and read the physical. But you have not been diagnosed. Your brother was. Yeah, it does run in the family, though. It does run in the family. So, note to self, definitely need to see how Gabby can show ADHD traits in this book. Yeah. First thing you had to research is proving to be, okay, so the wheelchair access and assistance is proving to be enormous pain in the rear, but it is essential because one of your parents cannot walk unsupported. Yeah. Kara says, gamifying things tends to work well for me. When you were taking A&P for nursing, the teacher noticed you were getting absolutely nothing out of the flashcards, and she had you switch to do puzzles. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. That works then. Pirate says, I'm very ADHD and currently using caffeine to focus. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we'll absolutely have regrets later, and this crosses into focus juices. Into focus. Oh, as it transforms from focus to anxiety, but you got to get done. Yeah. Agreed. You wish you could force yourself to hyperfocus because it's so overdue. You're shocked the professor is still working with you. Oh no. The deadline will help, but you got to do that. you got to do. So, Stacey says, I'm getting ready to listen and read an Agatha Christie book. Having both helps me focus. I listened to Murder on the Orient Express while I crocheted, and there were portions where I had to go back and re-listen to comprehend because I had it on like 1.5 or 1.75 or whatever, because it was too slow. Because the narrator was too slow, way too slow. And so I was having to speed it up for the majority of the book. But then like when some things were revealed, I was like, wait a second, let me go back and comprehend that a little bit better. But yeah. CB says, I don't know if I am ADHD or not, but I suspect you are, with the condition you have being so rare. Because you have dyscalculia, right? And having been born in the UK in 1982, no one ever thought what other evaluation does need. Yeah. Yeah, secondary evaluations are usually not given, which is frustrating. Sorry, I'm gonna need to blow my nose. I'm sorry. Kara says, looks like we'll have some mean storms moving in from Nebraska this afternoon. Oh, goodness. Hopefully the winds won't knock the power out. There's always a risk. Hope so. Hopefully your power stays on. You have learning disabilities, but we don't know what they are. Oh, you were evaluated for dyslexia at age 8, but you read too well for it. Okay. Yes. Statute of secrecy. Yeah. Kara says, I didn't learn I had ADHD, and you're probably on the autism spectrum until you were in your 50s. You'd always just been scolded for being bad or getting called things like flake and space cadet. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is they studied, as usual, they studied male presentations of ADHD before they studied female presentations. And women are much more likely to have the sort of like ADHD inside the head, and men are much more likely to have it present outward, like in their physical body, as well as like inside the brain. But yeah, so it's harder to diagnose girls. Wizarding law and wizarding's defrauding. It's financially defrauding. Gotcha. Parrot says I had to look up nursing A&P, anatomy and physiology, because in aviation, it's airframe and power plant. Don't you love that acronyms can be used over and over again? Oh, goodness. Gary says, yes, anatomy and physiology. You like airframe and power plant, though. All right. Okay, let's do another sprint. I'm sorry to cut the chat off, but we need to do another sprinty sprint. Let's do this. Second sprint is the self-promo sprint. So make sure that if you have something to promote, you do so now. And let's get the hedgehog because he's cute. Do. All right, let's do this. 1, save your document. 2, make sure you take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine. Roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is, if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we have finished the second sprint. Don't forget to do your self promo. I'm now up to 1,069. Oops. 1069 minus. I got 585 that time. Well, okay. So the first one is 484. Second one is 585. Maybe this third one I'll get 686. Who knows? Oh no. So okay, trying to get my brain to wrap around this and make sure it goes well. It's happening. So it'll be fine. We'll just take it slow. Okay, let me go ahead and we will do a third sprint because I feel like I should. There it is. Okay, we've now done two white roses. We'll switch to the golden trumpet tree for the forest app. It's going to be 4DHED 95SG. 4DHED 95SG. Okay. There's the third code. CB's self-promo is that up to chapter 14 of Stark for President is currently very messy. Iteration is up on AO3, and chapter 15 will be up when you finish it and proofread it. Nice. Kara's self-promo, you have lots of new book promos and a full Moon Tarot reading video up on the Reader's Roost blog, so check it out. Then we're still talking about diagnoses. Karma's diagnosis is rare and modern, so they're still learning what it really is, what's common with it and what's not, and a lot of local people have no clue. That's what happens when it's rare and then nobody's experienced it before or dealt with it before. And you can tell people what she has and it means nothing to anyone until they look it up. Even that can be confusing. She has DDX3X, which I did look it up, and just like it was like it's a genetic thing. And it looks like all these other things. I'm like, oh, okay. So that can be rough. Yeah. And then this was also my reply to, because Pirate was talking about dyslexia. It has many forms and can be an ADHD symptom, or maybe comorbidity would be a co-issue. Maybe your letters are fine on the page, but maybe you can't tell left from right and you can't spell without physically writing it down. This is where I was like, I was like, wait, is this another thing that I have to add to my list of maybes? But I just feel like that was something that we were taught, which was you had to physically write down the ways that you thought that it could be spelled and then pick the one that looked better to you, the one that looked more accurate once you had it written down. They're like, if you can do that in your head, that's fine. But otherwise, do it on paper and just use the correct one. The correct one that your brain sees. So yeah, I don't know. CB usually just says you have dyspraxia because trying to explain Weaver syndrome that only 50 people on the planet have takes far too long. Yeah, I would imagine it would. CB says, I still haven't decided about if/when I'm going to resume the knitting streams. I can't really make that decision until you know when your parents are going to Spain and if you're going over with them. Gotcha. Amanda, hello. Joining today for the vibes. Not able to write at the moment, but good luck, everybody. Excellent. I said I hoped that Amanda was getting all the things done so that you could write later. Amanda says, absolutely. Trying to get everything done today so that I can spend time to writing tomorrow. You won't have time today, unfortunately, but that's life. Yeah. And tomorrow is Saturdays are pretty much, I think it's a Heart Breathing's Saturday Double Down Day. I'm pretty sure. It's usually every Saturday, right? Or at least I feel like it's every Saturday. It could be every other. I can't remember. CB says 233 words. Be right back. Need to make dinner. Stacy is just under 700 words for the day. You're writing on your phone, not your computer. The typing is slower, but being able to move around is helpful for your headache, I would imagine. Yeah. Pirate got distracted by the children. Yep, they do. They're good at that, aren't they? The struggle of writing at home. But you were going to lock in for the next one. You told the kids and everything. We'll see how that works out. And JK says, oh, before I forget, if you guys are interested in checking out my author newsletter where I post writing updates for my pastry chef rivals romance, here's the link. So there's that. Also, if you would like to give JK a belated birthday present, which was Wednesday, feel free to donate to the coffee. JK is using the platform to raise funds for publishing Project Sugar and Spice. Funky had to clean the coffee maker before making coffee. And then children, am I right? Stacy says, I will let you keep the coffee. Yuck. But if it was tea, Stacy might try and steal it from you. Ooh, Lexi got 1,930. Excellent. Excellent. Amanda says, I'll have to try and join the Double Down Day. I'm ready to put in the work. Yes. Oh, no. Okay. It's the first Saturday of the month. Although I think they are having a virtual writing retreat next weekend. But there's usually quite a few Hardies that are streaming on Saturday, I feel like. Plus, I know Kate usually does 5K Fridays, Kate Kavanaugh. And Sarah does her coffee chat at 4, generally. I don't know if she's had like a couple of vacations and stuff recently, but let's see. Funky says, teens don't know how to clean up after themselves. Meaning the coffee maker. Gotcha. All right, let's do the third sprint. And I guess my self-promo is just, if you are not subscribed, please consider it. Yeah, that's my self-promo. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. All right, let's do this. 1, save your document. 2, take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is make sure if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, there's our third sprint. Let's check how much. I got 800. That shouldn't be exactly. I should have one. What did I do? 10. Nope. 1868 minus 1069. There we go. 799. Okay, I was like, wait a second. There's a something wrong with this by 1 point. Yeah. 799. Not bad. But I did do the stair step thing of just like a little bit more each time, which was fine. I will take it. I'm not quite at the 2K mark, but that's okay. I'll do it a little bit later and get it. So Kate's self-promo, imagineandwrit.blogspot.com. Just got back from lunch and a long walk. Mr. Vlandis, hello, welcome. Welcome. Dinner is ready for CB. Excellent. Stace says, I did not write it all that spread. Oopsie. That's, yeah. Sometimes there are those sprints for sure. I did do a little bit more in one of my journals. I was like, wait a second, I need to do this before I forget. So I did do that. Yeah. So did good overall. I think I did good. We also need to address the poll for today because we haven't done that yet. I'm terrible at remembering. Nope, not that one. This button. All right. So when it comes to what would our main character film with a personal drone? 55% of our main characters would be filming the aesthetic and scenic views with a personal drone. 34% of our main characters would be checking out enemy territory. 10% would be filming a loved one with either protector or stalker vibes. Could be either. And nobody would be surveying the land for either business purposes or rescue purposes. So we have spoken. That is how it would be. Lexi got 1,140. Nice. Lexi also says mine would be stalking my female lead, which is kind of what I was. Yeah, I was like, surely there would be a couple of morally questionable characters who would be kind of stalking their loved one. Yeah, surely that would happen. All right, y'all. I think that's going to be it for me today. Thank you very much for sticking with me and all my chatteriness. So thanks. I will see y'all next time. Don't forget to save, and hopefully you have a fantastic weekend, and hopefully I will see you in the chats as we get a little bit more done this weekend. All right. Thank you, and bye.